Hi, this is Brad Bob here, and I want to talk about something today that's pretty important right now. Good timing for it, and that is what's going on in the stock market, what's going on with your TSP. Okay, TSP, everybody, I would assume that everybody's hearing right now. Market's down. Don't be concerned about it. Don't touch your TSP. Leave it alone. At least you're hearing that from a lot of professionals, me being one of those, okay? And I'm not saying don't make any changes to your TSP, but what I am saying is don't make changes based on emotion, okay? We all know that emotions, when they get involved in our investment decisions, really most decisions, we don't make the best decisions possible, okay? But I want to provide a little context here today. So versus just saying, versus saying, hey, don't mess with your TSP based on emotion because the market's down 25%. That doesn't mean you need to be running to the G fund, which apparently not many people are listening to me because we continue to set records moving into the G fund. But I want to provide some context and show you a little bit of why I'm saying that. So let's look at this. This is a chart from Y charts here. So see down here in the bottom, data, Y charts, okay? And the information, all we're looking at here is history of the stock market, history of the S&P 500, okay? The S&P 500 is very similar to your C fund, okay? If I were to go to tsp.gov, I believe that it would tell me that the C fund tries to model the returns of the S&P 500 index. So this is times dating back to 1950, okay? When the S&P is down 25% or worse since 1950, how did the market do 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, and 10 years later, okay? All these columns here at the top, 1, 3, 5, 10. And then the amount of the decline over here that we started with, all right? One thing that sticks out to me immediately is there's no red over here. The only red is a year later, right here in 2007. A year later, the market was down about 7%, S&P 500, okay? Outside of that, all this over here, green, 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 lots of green, okay? Green is good. And we have two here. Our most recent in 2020, that was COVID year when the market tanked in a hurry and then came racing back, as you can see 1 year later, up over 56%. But we're in one right now as well. Okay, so we're down over 25% right now, and we don't have any data yet. Okay, we'll see, a year later, 3, 5, and 10 years later. But in all of these past ones, if you go out 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, you're looking at pretty good numbers. And especially if you go 10 years later, oh, excuse me, allergy season here in Illinois. So if you go out 10 years later, you're looking at really good returns. So if you stayed invested during these times, and a lot of you probably experienced the 2000s, okay? Federal employees nearing retirement, you were probably around during the early 2000s and then during 07 through 09. So you've experienced a couple of these. And if you stayed invested, and this one actually being the worst, 2002, but still you're up 38%. Okay, so not terrible. It's not a great 10-year return, but not terrible. But the rest of them, the lowest percentage you have is up 97.5% here in 1968. And then the highest, you're looking at 400 and almost 4%, following the 80 to 82 decline. So that's really all I want to share. When we're talking about not moving money based on emotions, not changing your TSP when the stock market is down, just because it's down, just because you're uncomfortable, even if it's something like retirement, if you have retirement on the horizon, okay? If you needed to make an allocation change, you should make that before the market plummets 25%, okay? Make it based on something that is it's an allocation change that it helps you accomplish your goals versus, hey, the market's tanking. I can't do it. I can't handle anymore. Let's get out. Because when we tell you to stay invested or not make changes based on emotion, this chart right here is one of the big reasons that we're telling you that, okay? As prices go down, typically valuations go up, and markets, prices go down, stock market returns over the next decade, over the next 5 years, over the next 3 years, future returns tend to look better, okay? Valuations look better, therefore future returns look better. And this chart shows you some of that. So I hope that helps. Hope that helps you to not make changes in rough markets just based on emotion. Thanks.